بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Welcome, brothers and sisters in Islam, in this video to explain the tips and the procedures of doing da'wah. And da'wah is a great responsibility for every Muslim and Muslimah. It is a great mission, and it is a mission of the prophets and the messenger. And also da'wah is a way of Allah Azza wa Jal, and is a way to invite to Allah Azza wa Jal. And the da'wah is from the word da'a, or the verb da'a, which means to invite, to call, to promote. And the da'wah could be also supplicate, could be pray, depends on the context of the sentence. So far, da'wah is a great responsibility. And in order to reach the success in the da'wah, you have to follow some of the rules, some of the procedure of da'wah. So da'wah, it has three pillars: the caller, the one who performed the da'wah, and the called, the one who received the da'wah, and the call, the message and the way of doing da'wah. So far, da'wah is, as Allah Azza wa Jal said in Surah Yusuf, قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله. So this is my way, and I invite to Allah with a certain knowledge, with insight. And a basira, or the insight, could be explained as a knowledge, also could be explained of using the knowledge to do the da'wah in a proper timing, in a proper place, to the proper person, with the proper means. Before you start doing da'wah, it is very important to know what is the virtues and the advantages of da'wah. Da'wah, as we just mentioned, it is a mission of the prophets of Allah Azza wa Jal. And also remember that Allah Azza wa Jal gives this superiority to ummah because of the da'wah. Allah Azza wa Jal said, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. And you are the best nation raised up for humankind. You enjoin the righteousness, forbade the corruption, the evil, and believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is the three things make the ummah superior. If we miss one of the three, we will be inferior. And also remember that Prophet Muhammad said to Ali ibn Abi Talib, لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا خير لك من أن يكون لك حمر النعم. Humr al-Na'am is the red camels, which is a most valuable wealth on the time. So Prophet Muhammad said, for Allah to guide someone by your hand is better for you than having a red camels. So this is, and also Prophet Muhammad said, Man dalla ala khayrin falahu mithlu ajri fa'ili. And whoever directs someone to do good will gain the same reward as the one who does good. So very good advantages of da'wah, as you can see. Before you start da'wah, we have to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us the ikhlas, the sincerity, في القول والعمل, in speech and intention and action as well. So as we mentioned, the da'wah has three points: the caller, and the called, and the call. The caller, the person who start or do the da'wah, has to seek ikhlas before he does the da'wah. It's very important. Every time you refresh your intention and refer it to Allah Azza wa Jal and the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Also, you have to learn before you do da'wah. You have to have knowledge. You have to follow the scholar when you do da'wah. And you have to learn about Islam, or about the topic that you are going to invite the people. And this does not mean that da'wah cannot be done unless you be a scholar, unless you be a student, a scholar. No, it could be a basic thing that everyone know it, which is a fundamental basics of Islam. In this case, you invite the people for it with the supervision with the scholar or the student of scholar. Also, you have to be kind and gentle. As you can see, the message of Islam spread in different places because of the akhlaq, the manners of the traders and this also the way of the prophets with the people. And Allah said, لو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. If you were harsh and hard-hearted, the world have fell from around you. And also when Allah sent Musa and Harun to Fir'aun, he said to them, فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. So a person who claims that he's a god, but Allah advised Musa and Fir'aun, Musa and Harun to speak to him, both of you mildly, in order that he may reflect or fear Allah Azza wa Jalla. So be gentle with the people, and also be hakim, have a wisdom. And the hikmah is to put the things in a proper place. And we have hikmah and maw'idha, and also we have mujadala billati hiya ahsan. So it depends on the circumstances, depends on the listener, depends on the person who will receive the da'wah. It could be a very simple person, has a fitra, a state of purity. He don't have any confusion in his mind. He didn't have any religion at all, but he's on fitra. But he need just to a very simple word that connected his heart to his Lord who created. So with this such a people, and there are many people around us who have this fitra, but unfortunately no one approached them to invite them to Islam. This need a special message, a sensitive wording, and a beautiful wording to invite them to Islam. And also remember, when you do da'wah, you have to be patient and listen to the verse in Surah Luqman when Allah Azza wa Jal said in Surah Luqman, Allah said, or Allah explained the advice of Luqman al-Hakim to his son, يا بني أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانهى عن المنكر واصبر على ما أصابك. Oh my son, أقم الصلاة, establish salah and enjoy the righteous, and prohibit the evils. And then what is the result of that? وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. And be patient for what you will face because of that. So remember, طريق الدعوة is a hard way. It's not an easy way. So put that in your mind. Don't think it is you're going to journey, you're going to game, whatever they said. So it is not an easy job. But on the same, if you rely on Allah Azza wa Jal, and if you have ikhlas, inshallah, Allah will make the hard thing, will make it easy, inshallah. So be patient also. It is not will be a 1 hour speech, or 1 day speech, or 1 month speech, or 1 year speech to convince someone to leave his deen, his religion. So be patient, and don't rush the people to accept shahada without the understanding the meaning of shahada, the meaning of Islam, the responsibility of Islam, and clear every confusion from the brain, and don't push them to accept Islam unless they have a satisfaction and has a confidence in Islam. Also, you have to show the good manner, the good akhlaq to the people, to be a model for them, a good model for them, and follow the footstep of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and be a follower of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam by obeying his command to do, and stay away from his command to not avoid, to not do the prohibition that he command to avoid it, and also follow him in his manners and his sunnah. And also when you hear his name, say sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So be kind with the people and show the akhlaq and the manners to the people. Then what is the characteristic of the cold person? The very important point, actually. Before we go with this point, remember that you don't have the ability to guide someone. It's only Allah mashi'ah. Allah wills. إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء وهو أعلم المهتدين. So indeed, you do not guide whom you like, but Allah Azza wa Jal guides whom He wills, and He is the most knowing of the rightly guided. And remember, the hidayah are 2 types: hidayat irshad wa hidayat tawfiq. Irshad means that you show to the people the way. This is your hidayah, this is your guidance. And then the tawfiq, the acceptance and the success, is from Allah Azza wa Jal. And then before you start your call, remember, listen to your cold person before you speak. Listen what he wants to know about it. Don't start the conversation by saying Islam is a deen of such and such. Islam believe in one God. Islam believes that Isa or Jesus is not the son of the God. Islam such and such. Because maybe this person don't care about that. He didn't believe in God at all. He didn't believe in Jesus at all. So listen to his speech first, and then you think about it. And then if you don't have the answer from the Quran and Sunnah, and are not able to refer in any of the speech or any of the statement of the scholar who follows the Quran and Sunnah, then you can say to him, I will refer your question to a scholar, and I will back you soon, and record his name and his number. They're very important. Don't give an answer without you knowing the answer, especially when you do da'wah. And also, when you do da'wah, put yourself in the place of the others, in the other person's shoes. Mean that it is not easy to convince a person who born as a Christian for 20 years or maybe 50 years, convince him to change his deen, his life, his way of belief, his way of ibadah. So they didn't know the Quran, and don't say Allah said, Messenger said, but try to approach him step by step based on the background. Also, you have to read the situation, the place, the timing, and the audience. For the timing, select a suitable timing to start da'wah. Also, it's preferable to have one-to-one da'wah instead of group da'wah. And take example from Surah Yasin, when Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran that He sent two messengers to the people of Valley Ahlul Qaryah, and they refused. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla sent a third one, but also they refused. And then look to Prophet Muhammad when he started his da'wah in secret in Mecca. He did the da'wah individually with his wife, with Abu Bakr, with Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Ali ibn Abi Talib, step by step, one by one, which is a more successful way of da'wah, is one by one conversation instead of group conversation. Also, the timing, as you mentioned, and the locations, the place that you're doing da'wah is very important to determine the success of the da'wah bi'idhnillah. And also, remember, when you deliver the speech to the people, you have to know how should this speech looks like, what is the structure of this speech. So this is the third point of da'wah, the call. Like, remember that we have only one way, the way to Allah Azza wa Jal. وأن هذا صراطي مستقيما فاتبعوه ولا تتبعوا السبل فتفرق بكم عن سبيلي. This is my straight path, so follow it and do not follow the other paths, for they will separate you from his path. So this is a very important point to know, that we have only one way to follow the Quran and Sunnah. And the best understanding of the Quran and Sunnah is the timing of the understanding of Prophet Muhammad and his companions, his Sahaba, and the Tabi'een and the Tabi'een, or the first 3 centuries in Islam, Hijrah. So this is Hadith Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, qarni thumma alladhi yalih, thumma alladhi yalih. So this is one narration that's 2 centuries after the century of Prophet, means 300 Hijrah, or another narration which has no agreement, add one more century. But so far, the first 3 centuries of Islam is a pure and a clear understanding of Islam. And during this century, we have, as I mentioned, the Prophet Muhammad and the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and the Tabi'een and the Imams of Ahl Sunnah. So try to stay on this frame. Don't exceed this frame, because this frame, there is no dispute between the Muslim about them. So if you bring the understanding of the Prophet, no one argue with them. If you bring the understanding of the Sahaba, no one, like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, Umar ibn Khattab, Abu Bakr Siddiq, all these Sahaba. And if you also bring the understanding of the Quran and Sunnah by the Tabi'een, Sufyan al-Thawri, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, and also the Tabi'i التابعين, like all the Imams, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam al-Shafi'i, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal, Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, the Imam Layth ibn Sa'd, and Imam al-Awza'i. All this no one can argue, since they are still in the first 300 years. So this is the pure timing of understanding, and anyone from the after them who follow the same understanding also try to bring their statement or this understanding of the Quran and Sunnah. So this is the character of the call. So refer to the first 300 years of Islam understanding of Quran and Sunnah. And the steps of the call should go first with the essential part of the da'wah, which is the tawheed, to have to believe in Allah as a one Lord and a one God, and to believe in Allah in His attributes and His names as He affirmed to Himself. So as we know the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when He sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Al-Yaman, and He mentioned to them, you will be going to a Christian and Jewish Ahlul Kitab, the Bible book. So the first thing you invite them is to invite them to Tawheed, to have a oneness and uniqueness of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then after they accepted that, inform them that Allah prescribed on them 5 daily salah in the day and night. And if they prayed, and then accepted that Allah prescribed on them a zakah from their wealth, and their wealth taken from their rich persons to be given to the poor of them. So this is the steps. Start with the essential parts of the deen, which is tawheed, the aqidah, the belief, and then go to the ibadah. It's a very important and very reason for success of da'wah is to start first, build the tawheed and the iman before you go to the ibadat. There are different methods of delivering the da'wah. Like, for example, emotional argument, selection of sensitive word to touch the heart, as I mentioned, for the people who have a fitra, have also tried to have a sense of fitra in their conversation by destroying their doubts, by bringing them to the fitra. Also, sometimes you can use the fact of the science, only fact, rather than the theory or hypothesis, because the difference between facts and the theory and hypothesis, because fact is an actual thing that no one can argue about that. But the theory or any scientific hypothesis that the scholar or the scientist of science introduce, it could be wrong, it could be correct. So try to have a fact. Like, for example, one of the facts in the Quran, like, for example, the honey. The honey, all the research, all the scientific research confirms that there is a cure in the honey. So this is one very simple example about the fact that no one can argue, because of the research already confirmed. And also one of the fact is the steps of the embryo and the creation of the embryo. It passes through several stages. So all that has been confirmed by the science. So try to use a fact rather than theory or hypothesis. Then there is some English and technical terms of the da'wah. I collected this in this table. So this is try to use these words it will and explain it to the others in order to reach the goals of da'wah. Last thing, the tips of da'wah. They're very important. Ikhlas, sincerity in speech and action. Hold firmly the rule of Allah Azza wa Jal by following the Quran and Sunnah, and unite the Ummah on one speech and have one unit in da'wah. Also, seeking knowledge based on your abilities. Seeking knowledge and don't leave yourself. Also, have a teamwork in da'wah and avoid dispute. Respecting the other and respecting to the other opinions, and do a shura between yourself, and have during your da'wah, select one of you to be an amir, a leader, and obey him and listen to him, since he follow Quran and Sunnah. And even you think that he do something which seems to be contradicted to Quran and Sunnah, just conversate with him in a good way and explain to him this is shouldn't be done. Also, do da'wah under supervision of the alim or talib ilm, scholar or student of scholar. And don't answer question based on your understanding, but refer it to the understanding of the Quran Sunnah by scholar, as we mentioned, according to the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and the Tabi'it Tabi'een. And if you don't know the answer, you can tell them, I will ask a scholar and take the details of the person, and we will back to him, inshallah. Also, be precise in your talk. Select simple and short sentence. And remember, I mentioned listen, think, and response. May Allah accept the effort of everyone who doing the da'wah to Allah Azza wa Jal, and may Allah grant us the ikhlas and the sincerity in qawl and amal, and help us to guide the people and protect us, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.